I was all kinds of happy to work out how to cut a spiral groove on a piece of plastic, and I came home tonight and had a little bit of time, so I thought, you know what, let's do this again with brass. And what I've learnt is that a Dremel is not a milling machine. No surprise there. So lo and behold, this is what's happened. So we've got this little bit. This is the closest I could find to an end mill at Home Depot. I've got some actual end mills coming from McMaster, but I've got this little bit and wanted to cut my spiral groove, and you can see there by the thickness of that track compared to the thickness of the mill that we're getting a lot of wobble, and that's not like a smooth bottomed cut at all. Very thin pass, but it was really struggling. I don't know if I can find a spot here. It's hard with the reflection, but you can see at the start there how much it wobbles around. Here's a cut I did just trying to go around the circumference, and it's not straight at all. Not a surface anyone could be proud of. Good thing this is just a sort of junk test piece. I'm learning that taking tests is valuable. That's how you learn. But anyway, so the problem that I'm finding is that a couple of things. Probably the biggest problem is, see how close up I've got this end mill mounted in the chuck here. Even with it being close up, you know, there's a fair amount of flex. I don't know if you can see it moving. There's a fair amount of flex in this, and it's not coming, I mean, there's definitely flex coming from this, but the flex coming from just the tip mounted here is way more than what these two U-clamps are providing in flex. It's like the Dremel itself doesn't move, it's just the shaft moves a fair bit inside the Dremel. I'm not sure how it's built internally, but there's just a ton of play there. And when you've got the play there, it catches up on itself, it binds, it tries to walk in different directions, and that's not great. The other thing that I'm finding is there's a fair bit of backlash. Just in these guys here. Well, one's not done up, but that doesn't really matter. So that when I'm trying to drive the lead screw to get the chuck to move with the right ratio for the lead screw movement, when this thing kicks back, it moves this guy back a little bit, and it's all just wibbly wobbly, and it ain't so great. So, someone suggested on Reddit that I'm only cutting a few of these grooves. Maybe I'll just do them by hand. This is brass. It's relatively easy to machine manually. So pull out the oldie file and file myself a groove. And that's maybe what I'm going to do. I'm kind of hoping maybe though that, look, even if I do get the right end mill for this, it's not going to fix the flex there. I think I'm going to do this cut by hand with a file, rubbing against metal, the old-fashioned way, and maybe I can come up with a better mill than a Dremel to mount on here. I may have to find an old milling machine and take it apart, or find a mill machine and mount a chuck so I can do the spiral movement on the compound slide of the mill, and cut the helix that way, because these results are not so great. Anyway, that's my update for the day. Thanks a lot. Bye.